Orthodoxy Today, the Bible in a Year, with Archbishop Alexander, the Most Reverend K.B. Ward. Esdras chapter 2. Nehemiah, with commission from King Artaxerxes, cometh to Jerusalem, and exhorteth the Jews to rebuild the wall. And it came to pass in the month of Nisan, in the 20th year of Artaxerxes the king, that wine was before him, and he took up the wine and gave it to the king. And I was as one languishing away before his face. And the king said to me, Why is thy countenance sad, seeing thou dost not appear to be sick? This is not without cause, but some evil. I know not what is in thy heart. And I was seized with an exceeding great fear. And I said unto the king, O king, I live forever. Why should not my countenance be sorrowful, seeing the city of the place of the sepulchres of my father is desolate, and the gates therefore are burnt with fire? Then the king said to me, For what dost thou make request? And I prayed to God of heaven. And I said to the king, If it seem good to the king, and if thy servant hath found favor in thy sight, that thou wouldst send me to Judea, to the city of the sepulchre of my father, and I will rebuild it. And the king said to me, and the queen that sat by him, For long shall thy journey be, and when wilt thou return? And it pleased the king, and he sent me, and I fixed him a time. And I said to the king, If it seem good to the king, let me give him letters to the governors of the country beyond the river, that they convey me over till I come to Judea, and a letter to Asaph, the keeper of the king's forest, to give me timber, that I may cover the gates of the tower of the house, and the walls of the city, and the house that I shall enter into. And the king gave me according to the good hand of my God with me. And I came to the governors of the country beyond the river, and gave them the king's letter. And the king sent with me captains of soldiers and horsemen. And Sanballat the Horonite, and Tobias the servant, the Ammonite, heard it, and grieved them exceedingly, that a man was come who sought the prosperity of the children of Israel. And I came to Jerusalem, and was there 3 days. And I arose in the night, and I saw few men with me, and I told not any man what God had put in my heart to do in Jerusalem. And there was no beast with me, but the beast that I rode upon. And I went out by night by the gate of the valley, and before the dragon fountain, and the dung gate. And I viewed the walls of Jerusalem, which was broken down, and the gate thereof, which were consumed in fire. And I passed to the gate of the fountain, and to the king's aqueduct, and there was no place for the beast on which I rode to pass. And I went up in the night by the torrent, and viewed the walls, and going back I came to the gate of the valley, and returned. But the magistrate knew not whither I come, or what I did, neither had I as yet told any thing to the Jews, or to the priest, or to the nobles, or to the magistrates, or to the rest that I did the work. Then I said to them, You know the affliction wherein we are, because Jerusalem is desolate, and the gates thereof are consumed with fire. Come, let us build up the walls of Jerusalem. Let us be no longer a reproach. And I showed them how the hand of God was good with me, and the king's words, which he had spoken to me, and said, Let us rise up and build. And their hands were strengthened in good. But Sanballat the Horonite, and Tobias the servant, the Ammonite, and Geshem the Arabian heard of it, and they scoffed at us, and despised us, and said, What is this thing that you do? Are you going to rebel against the king? And I answered them, and said to them, The God of heaven, he helpeth us, and we are his servants. Let us rise up and build, but you have no part, no justice, no remembrance in Jerusalem. Acts chapter 12. Herod's persecution, Peter's deliverance by an angel, Herod's punishment. And at the same time Herod the king stretched forth his hand to afflict some of the church, and he killed James, the brother of John, with the sword. And seeing that it pleased the Jews, he proceeded to take up Peter also. Now it was in the days of Azamiah. And when he had apprehended him, he cast him into prison, delivering him to 4 files of soldiers to be kept, intending after the Pasch to bring him forth to the people. Peter therefore was kept in prison, but prayer was made without ceasing by the church unto God for him. And when Herod would have brought him forth the same night, Peter was sleeping between 2 soldiers, bound with 2 chains, and the keepers before the doors kept the prison. And behold, an angel of the Lord stood by him, and a light shined in the room, and he, striking Peter on the side, raised him up, saying, Arise quickly. And the chains fell off his hands. And the angel said to him, Gird thyself, and put on thy sandals. And he did so. And he said to them, Cast thy garments about thee, and follow me. And going out, he followed him. And he knew not that it was true which was done by the angel, but thought he saw a vision. And passing through the first and the second ward, they came to the iron gate that leadeth to the city, which of itself opened to them. And going out, they passed on through the streets, and immediately the angel departed from him. And Peter, coming to himself, said, Now I know in very deed that the Lord hath sent an angel, and hath delivered me out of the hand of Herod, and all the expectations of the people of the Jews. And considering, he came to the house of Mary, the mother of John, who was surnamed Mark, where many were gathered together and praying. And he knocked on the door of the gate. A damsel came to hearken, whose name was Rhode. And as soon as she knew Peter's voice, she opened not the gate for joy, but running in, she told Peter, stood before the gate. And they said to her, Thou art mad. But she affirmed that it was so. And then they said, It is his angel. But Peter continued knocking. And when they had opened, they saw him and were astonished. But he, beckoning to them with his hands to hold their peace, told how the Lord had brought him out of prison. And he said, Tell these things to James and to the brethren, and go out. And he went to another place. And when day was come, there was no small stir among the soldiers that was become of Peter. And when Herod had sought him and found him not, having examined the keepers, he commanded they should be put to death. And going down to Judea, to Syria, he abode there. And he was angry with the Tyrians and the Sidonians. But they with one accord came to him, and having gained Blastus, who was the king's chamberlain, they desired peace, because their countries were nourished by him. And upon a day appointed, Herod, being arrayed in kingly apparel, sat in the judgment seat, and made an oration to them. And the people made acclamation, saying, It is the voice of a God, and not a man. And forthwith an angel of the Lord struck him, because he had not given the honor to God, and, being eaten up by worms, he gave up the ghost. But the word of the Lord increased and multiplied. And Barnabas and Saul returned from Jerusalem, having fulfilled their ministry, taking with them John, who was surnamed Mark. Dear friends, thank you for participating in today's reading. If you have any questions, comments, or prayer requests, please send me an email at bishop.alexander.oca@gmail.com. I will respond as soon as possible. If you feel that this study is helping you in your spiritual growth, please feel free to send an offering via PayPal to KenandWard@yahoo.com. All offerings will go for the support of our ministry. May the Lord spread his mercy and blessings on you.